Hare Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. Now we'll start today's Bhagavatam class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Saraswatim Vyasam ततो जयम उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam. Today we start new chapter of Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 12, Chapter 10. Shiva and Uma glorify Markandeya. Shloka 21. सुत उवाच स एवं अनुभूय इदं नारायण विनिर्मितं वैभवं योगमायया तम एव शरणं ययौ. श्री मार्कंडेय उवाच प्रपन्न अस्संग्रीमूलं ते प्रपन्न अभयदं हरे यत्माययापि विबुधा मुह्यन्ति ज्ञानकाशया. सुत उवाच तम एवं निभृत आत्मानं रुद्रेण देवरेटन रुद्राण्या भगवान् रुद्र ददर्श स्वगणैर्वृतः अथ उमा तं वीक्ष गिरीशं समभाषत पश्य इमं निभृत आत्म इन्द्रिय आशयम् निवृत उदजश व्रातः वात अपाय यथा अर्णवः कुरु असि तपसः साक्षात् संसिद्धिं सिद्धिदः भवान्. श्री भगवान् उवाच न एव इच्छति आशिष वपि ब्रह्मरुक्षि मोक्षमपि उत भक्तिं परां भगवती लब्धवान् पुरुषे अव्यये. अतपि वदिष्यामः भवानि एतेन साधुना अयं हि परमः लाभः नृणां साधु समागमः. सुत उवाच इति उक्त्वा तम् उपेयाय भगवान् सतां गति ईशान सर्वविद्यानां ईश्वर सर्वदेहिनां. तयो आगमनं साक्षात् ईशयो जगत आत्मनो न वेद रुद्धि वृत्ति आत्मानं विश्वम् एव च भगवान् तत् अभिज्ञाय गिरीश योग मायया आविशत् तद्गु आकाशं वायु छिद्रम् इव ईश्वरः. आत्मने अपि शिवं प्राप्तं तडित पिंग जटाधरं त्रिअक्षं दशभुजं प्रांशुं उदयन्त्यम् इव भास्करं व्याघ्रचर्म अंबरं शूलधनु धनु ईशु वसी चर्मभिः अक्षमाला डमरुक कपालं परशुं सह बिभ्राणं ससाभातं विचक्षुर्धि विस्मितः किम् इदं कुत एव एति समाधेः विरत मुनिः. नेत्रे उन्मील्य ऋषे सगणं स उमया आगतं रुद्रं त्रिलोक एके गुरुं ननाम शिरसा मुनिः तस्मै स पर्याव्यददात स गणाय स उमया सुआगत आसनपाद्य कदुपदीपके आहतु आत्मानुभावेन पूर्णकामस्य ते विभो करवां किम ईशान एन इदं निवृत्तं जगत्. नमः शिवाय शांताय सत्वाय प्रमुदाय च रजजुषे अथ घोराय नमः तुभ्यं तमः जुषे सुत उवाच एवं सुत स भगवान् आदिदेव सतां गतिः परितुष्ट प्रसन्न आत्मा प्रसन्नभाषत। श्री भगवान उवाच वरं वृष्णीष्वं न कामं वरद ईशा वयं त्रय अमोघं दर्शनम् येषां मर्त्ययत् विदन्ते अमृतं ब्राह्मणाः साधव शान्तानि संगा भूतवत्सला एकांत भक्ता स्मासु निर्वैरा समदर्शिन स्वलोका लोकपाला तान् वदन्ति अर्चन्ति उपासते हम च भगवान ब्रह्मा स्वयं च हरि ईश्वरः न ते मयि अच्युते अजय तबिदाम अणु अपि
ट्रांसलेशन माताजी
चक्षते
91
न आत्मन च जनस्य अपि न टू श्लोक एक्सटेंडेड युष्माणं वयम इमहि हि न हि अमयानि तीर्थानि न देव चेतना उज्जिता पुनः अन्ति उरुकारे यं दर्शन मात्रत ब्राह्मणेभ्यः नमस्यामः ये अस्मत् रूपं त्रयीमयं बिभर्ते आत्मस्मादान तपस्वाध्याय समय में ट्रांसलेशन एंड पर्पस प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय सूत गोस्वामी said the supreme lord Narayan had arranged this opulent display of his bewildering potency. Markandeya Rishi having experienced it took shelter of the Lord. Sri Markandeya said, O Lord Hari, I take shelter of the soles of your lotus feet, which bestow fearlessness upon all who surrender to them. Even the great demigods are bewildered by your illusory energy, which appears to them in the voice of knowledge. Sutta Goswami said, Lord Rudra, traveling in the sky on bull and accompanied by his consort Rudrani as well as his personal associates, observe Markandeya in trance. Goddess Uma, seeing the sage, addressed Lord Girish, my lord, just see this Lord Brahma is his mind and senses motionless in trance. He is as calm as the waters of the ocean when wind has ceased and the fish remains still. Therefore, my lord, since you bestow perfection on the performance of posterity, please award this sage the perfection that is obviously due him. Lord Shiva replied, surely this saintly Brahmana does not desire any benediction, not even liberation itself, for he has attained pure devotional service unto the inexhaustible personality of Godhead. My dear, still my dear Bhavani, let us talk with the saintly personality. After all, association of saintly devotees in man's highest. Sutta Goswami said, having spoken thus, Lord Shankara, the shelter of your soul, master of spiritual sciences, and controller of all embedded living beings, approached the sea. Because Markandeya's material mind had stopped functioning, the sage failed to notice that Lord Shiva and his wife, the controller of the universe, had personally come to see him. Markandeya was so absorbed in meditation that he was unaware of either himself or the external world. Understanding the situation very well, the powerful Lord Shiva employed his mystic power to enter within the sky of Markandeya's heart, just as the wind passes through an opening. Sri Markandeya saw Lord Shiva suddenly appear within his heart. Lord Shiva's golden hair resembled lightning, and he had 3 eyes, 10 and a tall body that shone like the rising sun. He wore a tiger skin. He carried a trident, a bow, arrows, a sword, a shield, along with bead, a damru, drum, a skull, and an axe. Astonished, the sage came out of his trance and thought, who is this and where has he come from? Opening his eyes, he saw Lord Rudra, the spiritual master of the three worlds, together with Uma and his followers. Markandeya then offered his respectful obeisance by bowing his head. Markandeya worshipped Lord Shiva. Markandeya worshipped Lord Shiva along with Uma and Shiva's associate by offering them words of welcome, sitting places, water for washing their feet, scented drinking water, fragrant oils, flower garlands, and tea lamps. Markandeya said, Almighty Lord, what can I do for you who are fully satisfied by your own ecstasy? Indeed, by your mercy, satisfy this entire world. Again and again, I offer my obeisance unto you, all auspicious transcendental personality. As the Lord of goodness, you give pleasure. In contact with the mode of passion, you appear more fearful, and you also associate with the mode of ignorance. Sutta Goswami said, Lord Shiva, the foremost demigod and the shelter of you, was satisfied by Markandeya's praise. Pleased, he smiled and addressed the sage. Lord Shiva said, please ask me for some benediction, since among all givers of benediction, we three, Brahma, Vishnu, and I, are the best. Seeing us never goes in vain, because simply by seeing us, a mortal achieves immortality. The in and ruling demigods of all planets, along with Lord Brahma, the Supreme Lord Hari, and I, glorify, worship, and assist these Brahmanas who are saintly, always peaceful, free of material attachment, compassionate to all living beings, purely devoted to us, devoid of hatred, and endued with equal vision. These devotees do not differentiate between Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and me, nor do they differentiate between themselves and other living beings. Therefore, because you are these kinds of saintly devotees, we worship you. uh, Mere bodies of water do not constitute holy places, nor are lifeless statues of the demigods actual worshipable deities, because external vision fails to appreciate the higher essence of the holy rivers and the demigods. These purify only after a considerable time, but devotees like you purify immediately just by seeing being seen. By meditating upon the Supreme Soul, performing austerities, engaging in Vedic study, and following regulative principle, the Brahmanas sustain within themselves uh, uh, the three Vedas, which are non-different from Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and me. Therefore, I offer my obeisance unto the Brahmanas. Now, purport by the Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The words na evachati ashisha kvapi indicate the Markandeya Rishi was uninterested in any reward available on any planet within the universe, nor did he want liberation, for he had achieved the Supreme Lord himself. When Markandeya Rishi saw Lord Shiva and Uma within his heart, he immediately became aware of them and thus also of his own individual self during his trance. On the other hand, he had simply been absorbed in awareness of the Supreme Lord and had thus forgotten himself as the conscious perceiver. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are respectively manifestation of the creating and annihilating potencies of the personality of God and Vishnu. Thus, in among three ruling deities of material world, one should not, on the basis of the modes of nature, find material duality within the ruling potency of that potency is manifested in three divisions: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. A pure devotee of the Supreme Lord is considered the most elevated of Brahmana, since all spiritual endeavor culminates in the loving service of the God. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Kurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadma Dati Swapadantam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam सगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देव श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांच नमो ओम विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण दंडवत pranam. In this 10, chapter number 10, Lord Shiva and Uma glorifies Markandeya Rishi. Here, according to naming of the chapter, we understand that the Shiva and Uma also glorify the Markandeya Rishi. Why they how they Shiva's giving and conversation both Markandeya Rishi and Shloka. Prabhuji will tell you in detail. Hare Krishna. Mancha kalpatarubhecha kripa sindhubhecha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna. So Markandeya Rishi had his wish fulfilled of seeing the illusion of the Lord, and thus he could understand the absolute truth as it is. What we see in this chapter now is how even Lord Shiva and Uma, they glorify Markandeya Rishi, and Markandeya Rishi receives benediction from Lord Shiva. So as Mataji has already narrated the basic story to us, how Lord Shiva was traveling with Parvati Maiya, and they saw Markandeya Rishi who was in meditative trance. So Parvati Maiya requested, and Lord Shiva accepted, and they came in front of the sage to grant him the benediction for his austerities. So Markandeya Rishi came out of his trance, he saw Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva definitely is the spiritual master of three worlds, and he was being accompanied by Parvati Maiya. So he worshipped them by offering obeisances, greetings. So this is what the whole story actually is. Now what we understand are two typical aspects from these 24 slokas which Mataji has covered today. First is how Lord Narayana presented the opulent display of his bewildering potency. And even after that, what Markandeya Rishi did was he took shelter of Lord. In fact, he said it that I am taking shelter of your lotus feet so that he can get fearlessness. And that is what we also need. We are always afraid, we are always in anxiety, we are always in trouble. So if we want to get out of it, what we need to do is take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. And that is the most important aspect to be done. And Krishna also declares that to be the only aspect to be done. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. So once that was given, it was but obvious that Markandeya Rishi would be fearless. He had nothing to worry about anything anymore because Narnarayan Rishi, Lord Krishna himself, he had seen them. And so he continued his meditating trance. And when he was in such a way, Lord Shiva, that is Rudra, and Rudrani, that is Parvati Maya, Uma Maya, they saw him in such a state wherein his body, mind, and senses were motionless. So he had controlled everything. He had become calm as the washes of the ocean when the wind has ceased and the fish remains still. Thus, he has reached a stage of austerity very rare to be reached. And hence it was but obvious that Uma Maya requested Shivji that the stage who had achieved such perfection should get some award. Now, Lord Shiva knew already that he does not require any prediction, not even liberation, because he had got pure devotional service to Krishna. Still, because he wanted Parvati Maya to understand it, he decided that yes, we'll go and talk to the Brahmana. If nothing, at least the association will be the biggest achievement. And that is why when Srila Prabhupada asks us to follow ABCD, the A stands for association. Association of devotees is the foremost aspect on our journey back home, back to Godhead. So here Lord Shankar, who in fact is a shelter for pure souls, who is master of all spiritual sciences, and who is also a controller of the embodied living beings, he himself approached Markandeya Rishi. Now look at Markandeya Rishi. He had completely become calm. His material mind was not functioning. And so he didn't notice that Shivji, who was one of the controllers of the universe, had personally come to see him. He was so much absorbed in meditation that he was unaware of everything which was happening to him or near him. Now, Lord Shiva, he is the knower. So he knew what is happening. He understood the situation. And so he decided to enter Markandeya's heart. And as soon as Markandeya Rishi saw Lord Shiva appear in his heart, he was overwhelmed. My Lord Shiva's description is given about his golden hair, which were like lightning. He had 3 eyes, 10 arms, tall body, which was shining like sun. Was wearing tiger skin. He carried a trident, bow, arrow, sword, shield, damru, skull. And seeing all these things, he came out of his trance and was wondering, who is this? Where has he come from? And as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Lord Shiva along with Mata Uma and the followers of Shivji. Now he knew that Lord Shiva is the spiritual master of the 3 worlds. So he immediately offered his respectful obeisances by bowing his head. Now this becomes important for us. And in fact, we all understand that Lord Shiva is Mahavaishnava. He is the foremost amongst the Vaishnavas. And so seeking his blessings can give us the strength to continue on our path of going back home, back to Godhead. So his blessings are equally important. And that is what Markandeya Rishi was doing. He was not doing anything for any material gains. He was doing out of his spiritual duty. So he worshipped Lord Shiva, Parvati Maya, all the associates. He welcomed them. He gave them place to sit, washed their feet. He gave them drinking water, fragrant oils, flower garlands, arti. And then he humbly inquired that, Lord, you are fully satisfied by your own ecstasy. So what can he possibly do for him? In fact, by his mercy, the whole world is satisfied. So he was really not understanding what was to be done. Because Lord Shivji, as Lord of goodness, can give pleasure. In contact with mode of passion, he appears fearful, but he is also someone who associates with the mode of ignorance. Now, this is a fact which he understood very well. The moment such things were said, Lord Shivji became very pleased. He smiled and he said, please ask for any benediction because you are someone who can get whatever you want. He also explained that there are many people who can give benedictions, but amongst all those jivas, it is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shivji who are the best. If anyone is able to see either of them, it never goes in vain. Because simply by seeing them, any mortal person can achieve immortality. Even the inhabitants of the demigods, Lord Brahma, everyone worship and assist those Brahmanas who are saintly, peaceful, free of material attachment, compassionate to all living beings, purely devoted, devoid of hatred, and having Samadarshina, equal vision. So indirectly what it is said is that we have to develop these qualities in us. You have to become free of material attachments. You have to remain peaceful. You have to be compassionate. You have to be purely devoted to Krishna. We should not have hatred about anyone, be it any other devotee, any other neighbor, enemy, child, daughter, daughter-in-law, son, son-in-law, anyone and everyone. And we have to look at everyone with equal vision because everyone is an Atma who is part and parcel of Sri Krishna. And that is why those who are devotees, they do not differentiate between anyone, not even between Lord Vishnu, Brahma, and Shivji. Neither do they differentiate between themselves and other living beings. And that becomes an important quality. Just water or bodies of water will not constitute holy place. Because that's an external feature. What is important is the appreciation for the higher essence of the holy rivers and the Vigraha Murtis, which purify after a considerable. But then those who are Shuddha Bhakt, pure devotees, by looking at them, anyone can be purified. By meditating upon Supreme Soul, by doing austerities, by studying Vedas and following regulative principles, anyone can sustain the three Vedas, which are not different from Lord Vishnu, Brahma, and Shivji. And that is what we have to strive to achieve over a period of time. Hare Krishna.